You may have seen this on the highway before. A massive truck drives past with one wheel completely off the ground. It just hangs there behind the truck like something is broken. And strangely enough, thousands of trucks out there operate like this every single day. At first, it sounds pretty ridiculous. Why would a truck carrying tens of tons of cargo intentionally keep a wheel that's doing nothing? But in reality, that wheel is actually helping the truck save fuel, carry heavier loads, and sometimes even avoid thousands of dollars in fines. In this video, we're going to explore why sometimes the smartest way to operate a truck is not using all of its wheels. These floating wheels are not a design flaw or some recent invention. The idea of extra axles first appeared decades ago as trucks became larger and roads could no longer handle the massive amount of cargo people wanted to move every day. Over time, the trucking industry realized that the real challenge was not just how powerful the engine was, but how the truck distributed its weight onto the road. If too much weight is concentrated on only a few wheels, the truck can burn more fuel, wear out its tires faster, and even break weight limit laws. And that is exactly why lift axles were created. An extra wheel can be raised when it is not needed, then lowered again when the truck carries heavier loads. Has anyone here ever thought that floating wheel was just a spare tire before watching this video? Share your first thought when you saw it. When people look at a massive truck, many assume the enormous engine or the giant steel frame is what holds all the weight together. But in reality, the parts silently carrying tens of tons of cargo every single day are the axles underneath the truck. Each axle is a structure connected to multiple wheels, responsible for distributing the truck's weight onto the road. Some axles are used for steering. Some transfer power from the engine to the wheels so the truck can move. And others only appear when the truck needs to carry heavier loads than usual. That is also why modern trucks often have far more wheels than a normal passenger car. If you work in the trucking industry or have ever driven a long-haul truck, share your first impression or a memorable experience of controlling a vehicle with so many axles and wheels. This may sound a little strange, but for heavy trucks, the total weight is sometimes not the most important thing. What trucking companies and transportation authorities care about much more is how much weight is placed on each individual axle. A truck may be completely legal carrying 40 tons of cargo. But if most of that weight is concentrated on too few wheels, the truck can be considered overloaded. The reason is simple. The more weight concentrated in a small area, the greater the pressure placed on the road surface. That is why modern trucks often add extra axles to spread the load more evenly, instead of simply making the engine more powerful or building a larger truck. Unlike a normal passenger car, a heavy truck rarely operates in the same condition all day long. In the morning, it may leave the warehouse carrying tens of tons of cargo. But just a few hours later, after finishing a delivery, the truck can become almost completely empty. That creates a very unusual problem. A wheel configuration that works perfectly when the truck is fully loaded may not be efficient when the vehicle is running light or empty. Many modern trucks are designed to change the way they operate, depending on how much weight they are carrying at that moment. Sometimes, the most effective way to make a truck more fuel efficient is not a bigger engine or more advanced technology. It can be as simple as reducing the number of wheels touching the road. Every wheel rolling on the highway creates resistance. And for long-haul trucks, traveling more than 100,000 miles every year, that rolling resistance means thousands of gallons of fuel constantly being burned. When the truck is empty or carrying only a light load, the driver can raise one of the extra axles to reduce that resistance. As a result, the engine does less work and the truck consumes noticeably less fuel. For trucks operating long distances every day, the fuel savings can sometimes exceed $3,000 per year simply by reducing the number of wheels touching the ground when they are not needed. A heavy truck tire operates under enormous pressure. While driving on the highway, each wheel may be carrying several tons of weight continuously for hours at a time. Heat from friction, hot pavement, and heavy loads causes the tires to wear out much faster than most people realize. And when a truck tire fails, the consequences are often far more serious than with a normal car. A tire blowout at high speed can make the entire truck unstable almost instantly. That is why trucking companies pay close attention to the condition and lifespan of every single wheel on the vehicle. In your opinion, what is more dangerous for a truck traveling at high speed? Losing the brakes or suffering a tire blowout? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. A heavy truck losing control is far more dangerous than a normal passenger car, simply because everything about it is much larger. A fully loaded semi-truck can weigh more than 30 to 40 tons, and all of that mass continues moving forward even after the driver hits the brakes. When the truck takes a corner too fast or makes a sudden steering movement, the enormous weight inside the trailer begins shifting to one side. If that force becomes greater than the grip of the tires, the truck can lose stability or even roll over within seconds. Many people assume that weather, heavy rain, or extreme heat are the biggest reasons roads wear out over time. But in reality, heavy trucks are one of the main causes of road damage. The problem is not just the truck's total weight. It is the way all of that weight is constantly pushed into the road through the very small contact areas of the tires. Even one overloaded axle can create enough pressure to slowly crack, sink, or deform the asphalt over time. That is why many highways and bridges in the United States have extremely strict weight limits. For modern trucks, adding extra axles often helps spread the force more evenly instead of concentrating the entire load onto only a few wheels. The most fascinating part of this entire system is probably the fact that a truck can make one of its wheels disappear from the road with just the press of a button inside the cabin. On many modern trucks, these extra axles are connected to the vehicle's air suspension system. When the truck is empty or carrying a light load, the driver can activate the system to pump air into special airbags located near the axle. The air pressure slowly lifts the entire wheel assembly off the ground. Once the truck starts carrying heavier cargo, the system lowers the axle back down to help support the extra weight. On some newer trucks, this process can even happen fully automatically based on the vehicle's real-time weight while driving. When people see a truck that is nearly 75 feet long, many assume it would be almost impossible to maneuver in tight areas. But in reality, many modern trucks are far more agile than they look. One reason is that extra axles can be lifted when they are not needed. With fewer wheels touching the ground, the truck becomes easier to turn and can achieve a tighter turning angle. This is especially important when maneuvering inside warehouses, container ports, or narrow city streets. Some modern trucks even use rear steering axle systems. allowing the back of the vehicle to move more smoothly while turning corners. The next time you see a truck wheel floating above the highway, you'll know the truth. It is not a sign that the truck is broken. It is the result of decades of engineering and optimization in the modern transportation industry. By simply raising or lowering an extra axle, a truck can change the way it consumes fuel, handles corners, protects the road surface, and adapts to completely different load conditions throughout the day. A small detail that most of us barely notice is quietly helping the entire freight system operate more efficiently every single day. And maybe that is the strangest thing about these trucks. Sometimes, the smartest ideas are the ones that look the weirdest at first. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can continue exploring the strange stories hidden behind the everyday systems around us.